Alright guys, so today I finally got my parts back for the mount for my blower project and for my and the chute extension for it. Um, the sheet metal company called me first thing this morning and said, "Hey, we got your parts in." I said, "Sweet, I'll pick them up before the end of the day." Um, so we'll go to the brackets here first. This is going to be for the right hand side of the tractor, and the quick hitch is going to be on the outside here. So you have your rod that goes to the top here, and then your pin that's going to go in through the bottom there, and this is going to be for the left hand side. I started drilling for the pin location down here on the bottom, but I made it, I think it was like a 7/16 inch hole. It's the biggest drill bit I got for that. I have a 9/16, but it's so dull it doesn't even cut, it just squeaks. So yeah, so what I'm thinking with these brackets is you'll notice they're both bent the same direction. This here and then that there. So what that's going to do is that's going to center the wheel on that blower on the center of the quick hitch. The blower housing unit is actually, or the blower unit is actually going to be off center, but that's because I have to have this thing turning the correct direction for it to work properly. So that being said, that's why these brackets are made up this way. With this huge plate here and then this little piece of angle here, this is adding strength to these bends here, and this is also serving another purpose. This is where part of the framework is going to be built off of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add steel between here and here, and the same here, and then build a frame up from it for the pillow block bearings to sit on. And then I just had them add a little gusset here to add some strength to this 90-degree bend here, just again for strength, because I don't know what this thing's going to do, and riding on the ground there's probably a good chance I could bend it really quick. But I do plan on running this thing in float mode, so I guess anything's possible, But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking with that. This funky little cut here is where the chute, where the discharge chute for the blower is. There's a funky weld and this and that, and instead of having this run, square into that, I just said, well, why don't I just go like that? It's not going to hurt anything being like that, especially with this big plate steel on the bottom here. It is what it is. So, do I like it? No, but I have to live with it if I want it to work correctly. You'll notice I got a couple lines here on the front that's marking the center of the holes. I guess not the center, but the center line where those holes have to be drilled through for the blower housing to mount. I still have to figure out my height, this way on both, so I can get that bracket, or so I can get the blower housing mounted. That being said, I gotta drill another hole, or a larger hole there, one up top here for that rod that goes across here, say it like on the snowplow and on the blower and this and that. So I gotta drill a hole down here, and same thing up there. So once I get that done and get those mounted to the quick hitch, then I can mount the blower housing and get that figured out exactly where I want it, height wise, so everything is level and perfect. Yeah, so I'm hoping those work. I'm gonna have to trim the top a little bit, kind of round this back corner off, or maybe cut some of this off here. I just had them make them just a little bit larger, just in case I wanted to do something funky with them. So but yeah, what I'm thinking is this is actually going to be flush with the bottom of the quick hitch, so there's nothing below it that'll potentially scrape on the ground if I'm backing up or whatever. Yeah, I'm just trying to think ahead a little bit. So onto the chute extension here. I had to make a chute extension because of how off center the housing sits, and with that being said, I'm used to using one of these doing lawn care, and you have to be right on the leaf pile basically for this thing to work like really, really well. And that being said, with the way this is going to sit, I mean, I'd be running over half the leaf pile to get the factory, I guess like where the end of the actual factory one is, to get this thing to work right. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work for me. So I need to build a chute extension or have one built for me. So I had them make one, and this actually is made to slip over the actual unit. And then what I planned on doing is where the baffle is on the inside of those things is just bolting it to that, and then putting the baffle out here. So yeah, if you give me a second, I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. Hang on. Okay, so I'm back. Like I said, what I'm talking about here with this chute extension being larger, I had to make it larger than this, and then this way, and then the same thing side to side. What I found out is they actually made it about roughly an 1/8 inch larger than what it needed to be. So I have to make up for a 1/16 inch extra on either side to get it centered perfect. I'm not too worried about it. I got it figured to mount flush on the bottom. I'm just going to stick up high a little bit on the top. You're never going to notice it. This is the baffle that comes with these things. That goes in there like that, and you can kind of direct your airflow up or down. I'm probably going to have one of these made for this, because this is actually, again, larger than that. And this one I just don't think is going to work. So if I can just have mimic it, just make it just a fuzz bigger, use the same pin style, and then just thread a bolt on there, because that's all they did there is they just threaded a hole through it, and welded a nut on the back. So, but what I did was, because I'm going to just bolt that thing through these two holes here on each side, just to bolt it on. When I measured from the outside distance here and figured out where I needed to be. And when I did that, I didn't account for this being larger, so I measured from the outside and then went to put the first one on, and I said to myself, I just totally jacked this all up because I didn't account for that. Flipped it over, measured everything again, and I did it again, and I'm like, what did I just do? So I went to the other side and I said, you know what, I'll just have the holes filled with the weld, and I'll grind them flat, nobody will ever know. So I did it again, one more hole here, and then I drilled another pilot hole here for this one, and I said, I'm going to check it one more time. Well, I caught myself with the first pilot hole. I did it again, and I went to correct myself, and I moved this hole this way instead of moving it that way, and then I moved that one the correct way. So this is the only hole that's correct right now. Kind of upset at myself for doing it, but it is what it is. It's steel. It can be welded. Nobody will ever know. So, yeah, like I said, that one's the only good one. I gotta have the rest. I got 2, 4, 5 that have to be filled, and yeah, it's no big deal. So it is what it is. But hoping to have that done tomorrow, and that way I can mount this and make sure this is good to go, and clean it up, wipe the oil off it, prime it, and maybe even paint it yet too. So I'm not sure what color I want to do everything yet. I kind of want to get it working first before I paint everything. I don't want to do that, paint it, put it all together, and then have it not work, or have it wreck something or whatever, scratch the paint, whatever. But I think what I'm thinking is I'm going to do this yellow here, the chute yellow, brackets are black, and then This will be yellow here. This is the housing cover. This what kind of covers up the fan, and then this is the guard here. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna paint the guard green, but what I want to do is save the high output blower part of the sticker, or have another one made, and I want to have John Deere put up here. You know, obviously not, you know, perfect, but I think it's like an 8-inch decal there, and I did some random searching on Google, just trying to see if I could come up with something, but off the top of my head I can't. So yeah, but like I said, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to paint the housing, or the guard, actually green, and then, you know, everything else yellow and black. You know, being John Deere's front attachments, and, you know, some of their smaller rear attachments are yellow. You know, I think it just kind of, you know, fits suit for everything. So I think it'll mesh well once I get it all put together. You know, I have some warning decals in a shopping cart online right now that I would like to order. I'm just trying to finalize some things with kind of how they look. You know, I kind of want this thing to look, you know, like you'd buy it from a store, you know, or from a dealer. So you know, if you have any questions or whatever, or like what I'm thinking for the color, you know, I guess for car colors, just let me know, you know, or let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm thinking yellow, the white there yellow, and then the red green, and then these two brackets black, and then this yellow as well. Again, I think that'll look pretty cool on the front of the tractor. And if you have any suggestions where I might be able to get a sticker like that made, I think that'd be kind of cool. I want to try and do the match the John Deere, I guess, graphics almost. You know what I mean? The font almost. I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not, but I think if I can get it close, I think I'll be happy with it. So yeah, so thanks for watching. Again, just wanted to give a little update on this thing. I know a lot of people are interested in it and kind of seeing what it's all going to be about. So yeah, this is just a little update. Thanks for watching. Bye.